we are cutting off about 4 feet of a roof. I'm a little nervous about that. You've got people working on a deck above a place where you've got them in the canyon, and so we have to make sure that we don't tumble rocks over on top of the people working in the canyon.
Almost every aspect of the property has had some form of change. Below the cliff, going up the side of it, the deck overlooking the Pedernales River, and the exterior of the house are continuing to step closer and closer to the completion of our team's work. Next Step Restoration Ministry focuses on helping people impacted by tragedy take the next step in their domestic needs while God restores their spiritual needs. We flew all the way to the outskirts of Austin, Texas to help restore this house to become a peaceful retreat for underserved families.
In today's episode, you're going to watch us realize how big this project is. My daughter Claire had prepared for the whole team a scavenger hunt.
In this episode of Restoration on the River, we will be showing you days 4 and 5 of this massive project. And by the end, we will have laid some serious groundwork for this project's progress, beginning with work during unfavorable conditions, but finishing with some major work on both the house walls and stairs leading down the cliff. Throughout this series, we will be taking you on the journey of how this house made its next step to completion, all the challenges we faced, and the incredible things that God did through this project. This is Restoration on the River. God has blessed us with some amazing weather the past couple of days, with sunny and partly cloudy weather that has been wonderful to work in. But the morning of the 4th day began with a much different weather situation. AJ, what's coming up on the map?
I think we're about to get hit with a little bit of heavy rain.
It was raining, and raining a lot.
So this morning we woke up knowing that there was going to be some rain in the forecast, but I don't think we knew it was going to be this much rain.
For today, we're veering off the path of our exterior work, and we're actually doing a lot of interior work. That'll be framing, putting in doors, and possibly some windows. Really, we're just going to play it by ear and see what the weather allows us to do.
So this morning, after we get everybody loaded up in the vehicles, so we start heading over to the work site, the rain dropped. And it came down hard. But I think everybody was thinking, wow, are we going to be able to get anything done today because of the rain?
Since our crew was inside of the house on the river, we only could tackle a few projects today. We began with installing the sliding glass door that Brian had prepared for in the previous episode. We unwrapped, moved, and test fit it, all while taking care to not let the entrance of the door bang into the ground. Once Brian and Danny had determined that the door was ready to be put into place permanently, we properly secured it to the house.
The problem with the sliding glass door is they're extremely heavy. And of course they're completely made of glass, so they're delicate. The team came together great. Brian's experience really lent to getting the job done and done right.
Kristen and Susie got to work on adding metal brackets called hurricane ties to the house. This provides structural reinforcement so that the roof doesn't fly off the house in a storm.
There are some problems with additions that were tied into the house. The rafters were missing some key hardware that needed to make them safe and strong and to do their jobs.
In addition to that, all the nails and screws left over from the previous drywall needed to be pulled out. The new wall material that would be installed at a later date can't be put over the old fasteners, which made removing them very necessary. In the same part of the house, Julius worked on cutting through the wall that was loosely attached to the main house structure. It had been a part of the addition made to the house, as the original house structure was only intended to be this large. The rest of our day was laid back. We played some games back at the group house and got some much needed rest.
After a nice afternoon of just resting, and everybody needed it, after dinner, my daughter Claire had prepared for the whole team a scavenger hunt. So we had 3 teams in 3 different vehicles, and we went out on the town, and I don't think Austin knew what was about to hit them. So on a scavenger hunt, you have certain objectives that you have to do. Find a stranger and do a random act of kindness. Play rock, paper, scissors with a stranger. A very interesting one, which you'll see here in a minute. Collaborate with a local street performer. To make it extra challenging, Claire had us draw out of a fishbowl some different defects. So extra difficult things that you have to deal with as you travel and do these projects. So one of them was that every time you come to a stoplight or stop sign, you have to bark like a dog.
Bark, 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 bark.
Another deficiency was one person had to walk backwards the entire night.
Okay, I got a video of Danny walking backwards. He's our designated backwards guy.
Every time they walked, they had to walk backwards. Our deficiency was you had to have a teammate on your shoulders while you're doing the scavenger hunt challenges. Jill and Kristen's group gave a Mountain Dew to a stranger.
Yours.
In my group, we accidentally scared some strangers. We didn't take into consideration that we're some people driving around a white van, and that tends to scare some people sometimes. But it worked out. We were able to share our mission story with these people, and we played rock, paper, scissors. Another fun moment was Brian and AJ playing leapfrog with each other in the park. And I think the highlight of my night was one of the things that we had to do was to high five a dog. So we thought, what better place to do that than at Petco? We go inside, there was not a dog to be found. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a vision of something in the store. And so I walked up to him and I just said, hey, you don't happen to be a street performer, do you? And he says, as a matter of fact, I am. He'd been dancing for maybe 20 seconds or 30 seconds, but then at the last minute...
Oh, we need to collab with one.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The scavenger hunt was a great team building exercise for everybody and a great way to just lighten up and loosen up and enjoy our time together. Today is Sunday, and what a great thing for us to do, but everybody get together and worship together. So we went to Kevin and Kelly's church, had a great time of worship, and an interesting little surprise. As we're sitting there, here comes the street performer from the night before. He attends the same church as Kevin, and it was so awesome. After church, we took a trip downtown to Austin just to see some sights and to get a feel for the area. We did some hiking, we took a group picture. It was a really nice time. And the interesting thing about this particular Sunday is this is also Super Bowl Sunday. So everybody was excited to get back to the house, and we all watched the big game together. You may remember this particular Super Bowl had an extra popular singer who was dating a certain member of one of the teams. And one of our members of our team was just not excited about all the fanfare of this particular singer.
Good night.
Okay, so today was going to be a big day for our team compared to the rest we had over the past weekend. Mainly, our team focused on continuing the individual projects we had started. We had begun a ton of projects, but nothing was actually completed. We were beginning to worry that we had bitten off a little more than we could chew.
I have Monday's list right here because it's long. Removing the wire fence, painting the metal posts, installing wood posts on the deck, staining the ledger board, staining fence near the road, add the concrete stairs, going down the cliff, pulling out more rocks where the deck will go in the future, installing windows, wrapping the house in tar paper, and installing the lathe. Quite a bit of stuff going on at the same time.
It was honestly almost overwhelming what we had to accomplish today, but our project leaders, Casey, Brian, and Kevin, focused on taking one part at a time. We started by removing the remaining fence to the left of the deck. It was in very poor condition, and we wanted to not only restretch the wire on it, but also paint the top rail and posts. The really big moment for today was putting up lath and mortar on the house so that we could finish the project with a stone facade.
On the back of the house, we started putting up tar paper to be ready for the lath that will eventually go up there. And at the same time, AJ is installing windows in the same areas that we're working in with the lath.
Our group also got some work knocked out at the front of the property. Susie and Claire got the picket fence stained, which added a layer of water protection, but also made it look better. Once they finished, they moved on to the ledger board we had installed on day 2 of this project. It gives the wood a more natural look, contrasted to the generic look it has from the hardware store. Plus, the board wasn't the only thing that got a facelift.
You're changed. You put your hands on your
Our team got some great ground made on the stairs leading down the cliff. Julius kept things moving by pouring concrete into the rock forms. Fox poured and mixed the concrete and carried it down, while Danny helped to level the stairs. Up on the deck, Casey and Riley went through and added screws to the boards that needed more fastening. They then began to install posts onto the deck so that in the next episode, we can finally attach the fence panels to make the deck safe.
We started to install the posts on the deck, which, if you remember, this is one of my biggest concerns, is just being on the edge of a cliff and with people working down below, and also just the difficulty of potentially falling off.
I just came down here to check on the cement.
We had some cactus land in the cement.
We just really had to take it seriously and be very careful.
There were a couple of other projects we tackled today. Brian started cutting boards and framing for the soffit panels that we will be finishing in the next episode. Ace and Jacob also got some holes dug for the posts of a future deck edition. Most of the holes had to be chiseled out of some massive rocks under the surface that we just couldn't pull out. It was difficult and tedious, but we had hit a stopping point at the end of the day.
These type of projects can feel like they're really slow to get started. You're just getting a lot of things going, but you don't really see much progress. And I think by the end of today, everybody was starting to see, wow, we are making some serious dent in this project. The fine details coming together just make it look like we're getting close to being finished. So everybody's excited about that. I'm super pleased. Kevin is super pleased. We're just really grateful for everything we've been able to accomplish. But we're not done yet. Episode 4 will go into how we wrap everything up, and you'll get to see all of the amazing finishing touches and the completion of all the projects.
With only 2 days left, Restoration on the River is continuing to move forward with loads of work done each day. Our team is so excited to see the changes in the next couple of days and how much more we will be able to finish with this big ministry project. So be sure to follow and stay tuned to the final episode of Restoration on the River.
So we're all excited that it's the final 2 days, but it's the final 2 days. You're gonna see some stress on some of our faces because we may have bitten off a little more than we can chew.